I hit the hills with Prestige Snowboard School, and we had an awesome time, even though it was like -40. And Sandy's got the injuries to show. Why don't you show us your little snowboarding injuries, Sandy? Oh.
Well, I did my story on fandom, and we found out that no matter what generation it is, teenagers, girls and guys are always going to go crazy for rock and roll bands.
It's harder to get jobs these days, but we talked to Dennis, an 18-year-old who actually bought his own business to get around that.
Did you know that it was illegal to be in an arcade if you were under 18? Well, we didn't know either. So what we did was we got the crew, we went to check out some arcades and see how people felt about, you know, the bylaw that says you can't be under 18 and play video games. It's a sick thing, I don't know.
So Neil, what about you?
All right, well, I spoke to Edward Aline. He's a transplanted New Yorker who came to the city to open a basketball clinic and to teach kids the game of basketball. But he's not only their coach, but he's a pretty good friend as well. So do you want to go talk to him?
I love you. I want to dance with you.
It's just a strict kind of hormonal reaction to stuff that goes on, and it's been going on forever. It's normal, it's natural, it's rock and roll.
Yes, this is in fact a real ticket stub from the 1965 Beatles concert in Toronto. My producer Steve went to the concert and he tells us about it all the time. Steve, do you know that that was 15 years before I was even born? John Griffin has been following rock and roll for years, as a music critic and as a fan. We're here at Cheap Thrills to talk to him about the phenomenon of fandom.
Here's a major example of fandom, and here's also the classic example of both peer and beer pressure that helped make Bruce such a huge hit with all the guys. This one was when you were in daycare. This one came out when you were in daycare. It's a great album. And here, of course, another band, the Rolling Stones. Remember the Rolling Stones? Do you remember the Rolling Stones?
My mother loves the Stones. If you could describe fandom in one phrase, what would it be?
Ariel, hormones are forever. Basically, kids will be kids will be kids will be kids, and I don't think anything has really changed.
You know, with the Beatles, they were like, you know, amazing musicians too, but when you take someone like New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys, their girls are screaming just as loud, but it's not the same quality of music.
There may be gigantic creative differences between, let's say, Lennon and McCartney and New Kids or Backstreet Boys, but hormones are forever. It's very, very, very important to remember that sex rules.
Do you think there's something unhealthy about all these guys and girls going crazy for bands?
No, absolutely not. I think it's like a really healthy release of energy. After all, they could be picking up guns and going into subway stations and spraying it around. I think that it's an awful lot healthier than the, you know, other possibilities. It's normal, it's natural, it's rock and roll.
Backstreet Boys! Backstreet Boys! Backstreet Boys! Backstreet Boys!
We're here at the Molson Center where thousands of teenage girls are waiting to hear their idols sing.
I know you, baby, I go anywhere for you.
And who's your favorite?
Yeah.
Is there a specific, because everybody that we've talked to seems to like Nick the best. Why do you like him?
He's so cute. He does special things.
Why do you like Nick the best?
It's cute. It's cute. Very cute.
He's very cute.
Because they have a beautiful body, you know.
Is this a way for the two of you sort of bond a mother-daughter experience going to see the Backstreet Boys?
Matching nail polish and the whole thing. She comes from a family of boys, so yes.
What would you guys do if you got to meet them? Anything.
Come on, Ariel. I saw Jim Morrison with the Doors. I saw Eric Clapton with the Cream. I saw Jimi Hendrix. It's exciting.
Sure, Steve. Come on, let's go. You can tell me all about it on the way back to the office. And think, at least you had Woodstock.
Oh, you should have been there.
seemed to freak out at the thought of underage kids hanging out in bars. We went out to see what teenagers would do if they were the ones making the rules. So what do you think about underage drinking?
I think it should definitely be lowered because people should know when they're ready to start drinking.
Do you think it's okay for underage kids to be in bars?
I think it's unavoidable, but it's really pretty dangerous.
I think it's good.
So if you could get into a bar without getting caught, would you go?
Yeah. Of course. Of course I would.
Okay.
I think it's fine, but they have to realize that they're taking the responsibility upon themselves, because that's something that a lot of people don't realize. They think they're a lot more invincible than they are.
I think it's all right if you feel it's all right for you. I think it's really a personal choice that everybody has to make.
To be in bars, it's like, it's a drinking establishment. It really is like, it leaves probably a bad mark on underage kids. Drinking is something else.
If you could get into a bar without getting caught, would you go? Be honest.
I think I probably would go, knowing me, but I would be very ready to face the consequences.
You're obviously not 18, so do you go to bars?
Of course not.
Hi, Mom. Right.
Most people think that to make it in the business world, you have to get a university degree. But there are young entrepreneurs who are taking their own steps to make it. We're here to talk to Dennis, an 18-year-old who just bought his own dépanneur.
Here you go, sir, $2. Well, it was always my dream to own a store. I was never good in school or anything. So I always thought about maybe owning my own business and then started making money. And then when my dad told me about it, my dad knowing that was what I wanted to do, and I was his only son, gave me most of the money to start.
How do you feel about having stopped school to start a business?
Sometimes I worry about it, because if it doesn't work, I worry about how things could turn out for me. It's not that I wasn't going to get anywhere in school, but I'm not the type of person that can learn that. You got to tell me over and over again.
And Benson and Ager, the black, we need that. We need at least 2 cartons. I am very proud of him because I trust my son, and the reason for that, I give him a chance in life, because there are so many young kids, they're very hard time for them.
What is the success failure rate for students or young people starting their own businesses?
Small businesses in general have a very high failure. Within a period of 5 years, about 70% of these businesses fail.
How risky is the dépanneur business?
It's a very risky business, but the risk can be slightly offset by the amount of hours and the amount of sacrifice that you're willing to make yourself.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm here from 6:30 till 11. So I work basically I open and I close Saturday, Sunday, and Friday. If it's a weekday at 4 o'clock, then I leave. I go back into the office for another 15 minutes, finish what I was doing in the morning, then just go home and sleep. I don't watch TV, I'm just too tired by then. All right, so let me show you where I do my bookkeeping. Get ready, it's a little small.
Oh, wow. This is really cramped.
Yeah, it is.
Do you ever feel like the walls are closing in on you?
No, I'm too tired to feel that. I don't think about it. Basically, all I see is this area. I don't see anything else when I'm in here. Once I'm done, I get out. I don't like being in here.
What kind of problems do young people generally encounter when running a business?
Lack of experience. Obviously, at that age, it's kind of difficult. You haven't had all that experience in terms of financing, in terms of running a business, in terms of how to deal with people. So these are obviously problems that you will run into.
The salesmen are tough on you. They want you to buy more, so you got to be strict. You got to raise your tone of voice, and screaming at an adult for me is kind of, I never scream. Usually they scream at me.
What kind of benefits are you getting out of running this business?
Experience. I'm young, so the more experience I could pick up now, I'll be able to learn from that. Like in 10 years from now, I'll be 28, which is still young, and I already have 10 years experience. So I won't get as fooled, or I won't get ripped off as a reason, and then hopefully that'll make me a better person, a better business person, I love this job.
Dennis was lucky enough to have 40 grand to pump into his business. Most young people aren't that lucky. But we gathered that to be successful, it seems that you need research and a lot of determination.
In the best interest of the young people for them not to be allowed to go into arcades because of criminality that you find usually in these places. The other aspect of it is to make sure that the children were going to school, and very often children will go there, or young people under 18 will go there instead of going to school and spend all their money.
Did you know that in this city it's illegal to even be in this arcade if you're under 18 years old? We went and spoke to some experts to find out why, and to find out what's so bad about being in an arcade.
I think arcades are perfectly normal, you know, place for entertainment, place for kids.
By the definition of being an arcade parlor, it's really designed to go in there and have some fun.
The only thing is that arcades, like for younger people, like it takes up a lot of time. A lot of like young people I see really getting involved in it, and they could be doing other things with their time.
It's very difficult for a child to say, no, you know, I think I'll pass. It's more fun to go home and do some homework.
Do you think that people under 18, minors, should be admitted into arcades?
Well, again, I think one has to self-monitor children, and if they can monitor themselves, go in, spend a little time there and walk out, then it's not a problem. I think it becomes a real problem if we as a society have to forbid children to go into places just because we have difficulty controlling the amount of time they spend there.
Do you think that video games can get addictive if you play them a lot?
Well, some people get addicted to anything, you know. They get addicted to gum, so hey, they're addicted to video games also, I guess.
So Josh, is it time to call Video Arcade Anonymous yet?
Not yet, but very soon.
Why is it that boys or young men seem to be more drawn to video games than girls?
Boys tend to be much more interested in the action-oriented types of games that are available. The sort of shoot-em-ups, the kill-ems, the knock-em-downs, the fighting action. Girls tend to be much more interested in things like Tetris, the kinds of things that involve some sort of cognitive thinking skills that are involved.
Tetris is said to be a girl's game. While our peer producer, Sandy, thinks she can beat me, she doesn't stand a chance. So she's been wearing Alexi, our sound man's lucky hat. She's been wearing lucky hat, lucky
Stop trash talking. Let's
Whatever,
play.
it doesn't matter. Let's get it on, Sandy.
Hey, why isn't this working?
I'm really much better at Sandy at this game. And here, I don't even have to look, and I'm just getting line after line. It's like a joke, honestly.
He's not supposed to be winning. He's a guy.
When levels are added to games, and it would obviously prolong kids playing, but would it be a bad thing or a good thing? Because, I mean, it could keep a kid working harder to get what he wants, I guess. You know?
Well, I mean, the whole notion of task commitment, the idea of sustaining on a task is an interesting one, because that's one of the things that we try to get children to do in the school systems, for example, is spend more time doing things. Unfortunately, it doesn't transfer. It's what psychologists like to call transfer of learning. Doing that on a video game, playing a video game for an hour and a half, will not make it any easier to sit down and do your math homework for an hour and a half.
Oh, no!
Look at that. Sandy lost, and I'm just going to continue for a bit. Excuse me. Vamos.
Okay.
My program is actually to teach these kids how to be leaders. Okay? No one wants to be a follower. Everyone wants to be a leader. And what we try to do here is just teach the kids how to be leaders. It's very important to be a leader.
Okay. Stop. Edward Allen grew up in Brooklyn, New York, where he had dreams of becoming a professional basketball player before open heart surgery ended his college career in 1983. But he hasn't let that stop him. He started a basketball program here in Montreal where he shares his passion for the game and where he tries to teach the kids a few things about life in the process. You never know, he might be able to help me with our foul shot because I can't seem to hit one from the line for the life of me. So let's go in.
Stop, hit the floor. What we want to do is get as close as elbow length away from the man. So right here. Let's go down low. Okay? What we got here is a basketball clinic for young teenagers. It's a place for them to improve their skills, basically to stay out of trouble. This is my way of giving it back to, you know, the younger generation. I played ball for a while. Unfortunately, I had to stop. I hate to say it, but I had surgery where it was a life-threatening operation. Recovery-wise, I used basketball to get back on my feet. And the second surgery that I had, open heart surgery, they told me straight out, if you played, you could end up dead. It never stopped me. I can't do it on the court. I might be able to fool around, but in a serious game, I'm scared. Someone might try to take my head off. So what I try to do is, if I have a kid that is a little bit stronger than me, why not teach him my skills? Let him go and play. Let him enjoy himself. And it makes me feel good inside.
What are you hoping you'll take away from the program for yourself?
I hope I'll be a better person all around, a better basketball player, and I hope I can give this to other people after.
What's so different about coming here as opposed to going to maybe your school basketball practices?
Edward's the reason, you know, because other coaches don't teach you what Edward teach you, and you can talk to Edward anytime you want. So it's a different kind of thing.
Some of them are rough kids, but around me they're not. On the outside they might be rough, but inside here it's a total different, situation for them. They're here to learn. They respect me.
It's not that he's strict. It's something about him that we have to have respect for him. And whatever he says, like anything in practice, we do it. Just do it because we know it's going to improve our game. He tries to help out anyway. He calls if you're sick. You know, he wants to make sure you get home safely after practice, so we have to call him when we get home. He's a good guy. He's just a really good coach, person, teacher.
What we do is go straight up here, straight line. Okay? So you have your little window to the side. So from here we just go up and then out.
I mean, darn. I'm swearing on BuzZone.
It's gonna take a while, man.
I'm swearing.
Just take your time.
I can't play basketball.
You got it.
Was that on? Was that good? See? He's a magician.
Some of them think of me as an older brother. And that makes me feel proud inside. You know, I never had that when I was young, so that really makes me feel proud. I'm glad to do it.
That's good. That's good.
Beautiful sun and the fact that I'm not wearing a face mask deceive you, all right? It's about minus 100 here today, but we're gonna brave the cold because we're here at the Prestige Snowboard School, and I'm gonna get them to help me out a bit with my snowboarding technique, and we might even get Sandy, our field producer, on her feet, see what she can do on the board.
I want to see some flat tricks, some fun, ride safety a bit, switch back and forth and stuff. Have fun going down, okay?
So how'd you guys get the idea for the school?
Well, we've been teaching for a long time.
I mean, we were lucky because we had a foot kind of in the door because we were hooked up with a couple of mountains that we knew. And then from there, it just branched out. We just met a whole bunch of people. Everybody loved the idea because, you know, it's original. There wasn't anything else like that anywhere in North America.
Everybody want to work for the sport.
Yeah.
Like, it's a young sport, and everybody want to do something because
make it grow.
Make it grow.
All right, what I'm going to teach you guys next is no slides, okay? Get a little bit of speed, right? Once you have not too much speed, but enough to keep yourself moving, you're going to kind of bring your board across the fall line, but not on one edge. You're just going to be riding on the nose. Yeah, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it! Almost.
Were any of you like skiers before?
Yeah.
Yeah? And would anyone go back?
No.
No way.
Because it's boring.
I skied for like 5 years, and then I knew I could never get better, so I just stopped and tried snowboarding, and since then I get better and better.
Yeah, you just get hooked.
How long does it take you to get good?
After your third time, you start enjoying it. The first couple of times, you just keep on falling on your wrist. It's not very fun.
And to get to do these kinds of jumps?
Depends on the person.
It's like the people who have no fear, especially young kids and stuff. But seriously, you pick it up so much quicker because you don't have that kind of fear element in there.
Guys are trying to convince me that I gotta learn how to board and join the 90s. Okay, let's do it.
Snowboarding so much better. I mean, I know, but tell other people.
It's more than sport, it's a lifestyle.
That's it for this week's BuzZone. See you guys next week.
For the show, get in touch with us. You can fax us, you can phone us, you can write us, and you can even reach us on the internet.